Welcome to our kitchen. Today we're diving into the flavors of Japan with a dish that is as nourishing as it is comforting. Vegetarian ramen with tofu and shiitake mushrooms. This dish is a symphony of textures and tastes, featuring silky ramen noodles, succulent tofu, and earthy shiitake mushrooms, all swimming in a savory broth. Not only is it a treat for your palate, but it's also packed with nutrients that your body will thank you for. So, gather your ingredients and join me in this culinary adventure. Step 1. Cook your ramen noodles according to the package instructions. Now you might be wondering, why is it so important to follow the package instructions? Well, the answer lies in the texture and taste of your noodles. Ramen noodles are unique and delicate. They are not like your regular pasta noodles. They have a certain bounce to them, a particular chewiness, and a distinct taste that sets them apart. This is why following the package instructions to the letter is crucial for getting the best out of your ramen noodles. Let's dive a little deeper into the process. Cooking ramen noodles is straightforward, but it requires your full attention. You start by bringing a pot of water to a boil. The amount of water you need will depend on the number of servings you're making, but a good rule of thumb is to have enough water to fully submerge your noodles. Once the water is boiling, you add your noodles, gently stirring to separate them. This is a critical step, as it ensures your noodles don't stick together and cook evenly. Be careful not to overcook them. You want your noodles to be al dente, firm to the bite, but not hard. This usually takes around 3 to 4 minutes, but it's best to check the package for exact timing. When your noodles are perfectly cooked, you drain them immediately to stop the cooking process. This is where you can give them a quick rinse under cold water. Rinsing not only stops the cooking, but also removes excess starch, preventing your noodles from turning mushy. Once your ramen noodles are cooked, drain and set them aside. The noodles are now ready to soak up the flavors of your broth, tofu, and shiitake mushrooms. But that's a story for the next scene. And there you have it. Your ramen noodles, cooked to perfection, firm, bouncy, and ready to take on the flavors of your delicious vegetarian ramen dish. Remember, the key to a great dish lies in the details, and cooking your ramen noodles just right is one of those crucial details. Stay tuned for the next step, where we'll be preparing the broth. Now, let's move on to the heart of our dish, the broth. The broth is the backbone of our vegetarian ramen. Its complex flavors and aromatic warmth are what truly bring this dish to life. We'll start by heating our vegetable broth. This is a simple yet crucial step. A good broth should be hot but not boiling, just the right temperature to extract and meld the flavors of our other ingredients. As the broth heats up, a comforting aroma will start to fill your kitchen, the kind that makes you feel right at home. Next, we season the broth with soy sauce and sesame oil. The soy sauce, with its rich umami flavor, adds depth to our broth. It imparts a savory, salty note that complements the earthiness of the vegetable broth. Now the sesame oil, this is a real game changer. Just a drizzle of it infuses the broth with a robust, nutty flavor and a delectable aroma that's simply irresistible. As we stir in these seasonings, you'll notice the broth changing color, taking on a darker, richer hue. This visual transformation is a testament to the flavors we're building. Each ingredient plays a role, contributing its unique characteristics to create a harmony of tastes. It's important to taste your broth as you go. This allows you to adjust the seasoning to your liking. Remember, cooking is an art, and you are the artist. So, trust your palate. If you feel the broth needs more saltiness, add a bit more soy sauce. If it lacks that distinct nuttiness, a touch more sesame oil might do the trick. While the ingredients are important, what truly makes a great broth is patience. Allow it to simmer gently, giving the flavors time to meld together. It's during this slow simmering process that the magic happens. The flavors intensify, the aromas become more pronounced, and our simple vegetable broth transforms into a rich, flavorful base for our ramen. When your broth is well seasoned, it's time to add the tofu and shiitake mushrooms. So stick around, because we're just getting started. You won't want to miss the next step in our vegetarian ramen journey. Adding tofu and shiitake mushrooms to the broth will infuse it with a delightful umami flavor. As we continue our culinary journey, it's time to bring in 2 stars of our vegetarian ramen, tofu and shiitake mushrooms. Tofu, also known as bean curd, is a fantastic source of protein and contains all 9 essential amino acids. It's also high in iron and calcium, and the manganese in tofu is good for your bones. What's more, it's incredibly absorbent, soaking up all the flavors of the broth, making it a tasty and nutritious addition to our ramen. Now let's talk about shiitake mushrooms. These fungi are not just delicious, they're also a powerhouse of nutrients. They're rich in B vitamins that help the body draw energy from food and form red blood cells. A unique compound found in shiitakes called erythroadenine may also help lower cholesterol. To add these ingredients to our ramen, we'll start with our simmering broth. Gently add the sliced tofu and shiitake mushrooms into the pot. The key here is to let them simmer until they're heated through. This allows the tofu to absorb the savory flavors of the broth and the mushrooms to release their rich, earthy taste. Remember, good food, like good life, isn't a race. It's about savoring each moment. So take your time. Let the ingredients dance together in the pot, allowing the heat to coax out the flavors and aromas. This is where the magic happens. This is where simple ingredients transform into something truly spectacular. The beauty of cooking is in its simplicity and the harmony of flavors. The tofu, delicate yet robust, absorbing the broth's flavor, and the shiitake mushrooms, with their unique umami flavor, come together to create a sensational gastronomic experience. Once your tofu and mushrooms are heated through, you are ready to assemble your ramen. Remember, the heart of every great recipe is in the love you put into it. So stir with passion, taste with curiosity, and savor the journey. Cooking is not just about the destination, it's about the joy of creating something delicious from scratch. Now comes the fun part, assembling your ramen. The stage is set, and it's time to bring all the elements together to create a symphony of flavors. This is where your culinary artistry comes into play, and each bowl of ramen becomes a personal masterpiece. Start by dividing the cooked ramen noodles into your serving bowls. The noodles, having absorbed the rich flavors of their cooking water, form the base of our dish. The beauty of ramen lies in its versatility, so feel free to add as many or as few noodles as you prefer. Next, ladle the hot broth over the noodles. The broth, rich with the umami flavor of soy sauce and sesame oil, is the soul of the dish. It carries within it the subtle notes of tofu and shiitake mushrooms, adding depth and complexity to our ramen. Now, let's add the toppings. If you're using a soft-boiled egg, this is the time to gently place it on top of the noodles. The creamy yolk adds a touch of luxury, creating a delightful contrast with the chewy noodles and the savory broth. Following the egg, add a handful of bok choy or spinach. The fresh, crisp greens provide a pleasant crunch and a vibrant color contrast, making the bowl even more visually appealing. Sprinkle a generous amount of sliced green onions next. Their mild, sweet flavor complements the strong umami notes of the broth, creating a balanced flavor profile. Finally, add a piece of nori or seaweed to your ramen. It imparts a unique oceanic flavor that elevates the dish to a whole new level. The nori also adds a striking visual element, making your ramen look like it came straight out of a gourmet kitchen. And voila! Your vegetarian ramen with tofu and shiitake mushrooms is ready to be served. Each spoonful is a celebration of flavors and textures, ensuring a delightful culinary experience. So grab your chopsticks and let's dive into this bowl of deliciousness. There you have it, a delicious, nutritious, and easy-to-make vegetarian ramen with tofu and shiitake mushrooms. Just follow these simple steps. Cook the ramen, prepare the broth, add the tofu and mushrooms, and assemble your ramen. Give it a try, and feel free to share your culinary adventures with us. Thank you all for joining me in the kitchen today. Remember, the heart of every great recipe is the love you put into it. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more delicious recipes and culinary inspiration. Until next time, happy cooking and bon appétit!